Have you ever watched someone slowly stop loving you? Not all at once, not with a dramatic goodbye, not with a single argument, but little by little. The texts become shorter. The conversations lose their warmth. The excitement fades. The affection that once felt effortless begins to feel forced. And one day, you realize something painful. The person who once couldn't wait to hear from you no longer looks at you the same way. For many people, this moment feels like the end of the world. They panic, they beg, they chase. They try to convince the other person to stay. They replay every memory in their mind, searching for answers. They ask themselves what they did wrong. They wonder why they were not enough. But the Stoics would tell you something different. They would tell you that this pain, as unbearable as it feels, contains one of life's greatest lessons. They would tell you that losing someone's love does not mean losing yourself. In fact, it may be the very thing that helps you find yourself again. One of the hardest truths to accept is that you cannot control another person's feelings. You can be kind, loyal, supportive, and loving, and still watch someone drift away. This truth is uncomfortable because we want life to be fair. We want effort to guarantee results. We want love to guarantee love in return, but human emotions do not follow contracts. People change. Circumstances change. Desires change. And sometimes, despite everything you have done, someone's feelings change too. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and some things are not. Our actions, our character, and our choices belong to us. Another person's heart does not. The moment you understand this, you stop fighting reality. You stop wasting energy on a battle you can never win. Instead of trying to control another person's emotions, you begin focusing on the only thing you truly own: your response. Most people make the same mistake when they sense love fading. They become desperate. They think that if they say the right words, send the right message, or make the right promise, they can bring back what was lost. They chase harder. They try harder. They sacrifice more. But desperation rarely creates attraction. In most cases, it does the opposite. It pushes people further away. Why? Because desperation comes from fear. It sends a message that your happiness depends entirely on another person's decision. And when your happiness depends on someone else, you hand them power over your peace of mind. The Stoics warned against placing your well-being in the hands of things you cannot control. The more your identity depends on another person's affection, the more vulnerable you become when that affection disappears. Think about how many people lose themselves in relationships. At first, it seems harmless. They prioritize their partner. They make sacrifices. They spend more time together. But slowly, without realizing it, they abandon their own goals, friendships, hobbies, and sense of purpose. Their entire world begins revolving around one person. Then, when that person leaves, they feel empty. Not because they lost love, but because they lost the version of themselves that existed before the relationship. Stoicism teaches us that no external relationship should become the foundation of our identity. Love is beautiful, but it should complement your life, not replace it. The moment another person becomes your entire source of meaning, you place yourself in a dangerous position. There is another painful lesson hidden inside heartbreak. It is the lesson of impermanence. Most people live as if good things will last forever. They assume relationships, friendships, and circumstances are permanent. Then reality surprises them. The Stoics understood something many people spend their entire lives avoiding. Everything changes. Every season ends. Every relationship evolves. Every human being is temporary. This does not mean we should become cold or detached. It means we should appreciate what we have while we have it, knowing that nothing is guaranteed. When you accept this truth, loss becomes less shocking. Pain still exists, but it no longer destroys you. You understand that change is not a personal attack from the universe. It is simply part of life. Imagine holding sand in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more sand slips through your fingers. Relationships often work the same way. The harder you try to force someone to stay, the faster they pull away. Love cannot be controlled through pressure, guilt, or manipulation. Genuine love is a choice. If someone chooses to leave, no amount of force can create authentic affection. The Stoic response is not to cling tighter. It is to open your hand. It is to recognize that what belongs in your life will remain willingly, and what wants to leave should not be imprisoned. Many people confuse love with possession. They believe that if someone loved them yesterday, they owe them the same love tomorrow. But human beings are not possessions. They are free individuals with their own thoughts, emotions, and decisions. This realization hurts because it challenges our deepest desires for certainty. We want guarantees. We want promises that can never be broken. Yet life offers no such guarantees. The Stoics encourage us to love deeply while remembering that nothing external truly belongs to us. Not wealth, not status, not even the people we care about. We can cherish them, we can appreciate them, but we cannot own them. When someone stops loving you, your ego often suffers more than your heart. Suddenly questions begin appearing in your mind. Was I not attractive enough? Was I not successful enough? Was I not interesting enough? The ego desperately searches for explanations because it wants to protect itself from rejection. But another person's decision is not a measurement of your value. Human preferences are complex. Someone can leave not because you lack worth, but because their path has changed. The Stoics remind us that our value comes from our character, not from external validation. If your self-worth depends on another person's approval, you will spend your life riding an emotional roller coaster. True confidence comes from knowing who you are, regardless of who chooses to stay or leave. This is where dignity becomes important. Dignity is not arrogance. It is not pretending you do not care. Dignity means refusing to abandon your principles when emotions become intense. Anyone can remain composed when life is easy. The real test comes when your heart is broken. Do you betray yourself to keep someone else? Do you sacrifice your self-respect for temporary attention? Do you become someone you no longer recognize just to avoid being alone? The Stoics would argue that your character matters most precisely when circumstances tempt you to abandon it. History gives us countless examples of people who transformed suffering into strength. They did not grow because life was comfortable. They grew because life challenged them. Heartbreak, rejection, and disappointment became the fire that shaped their character. The same can happen to you. Pain is a powerful teacher when you stop resisting its lessons. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can this teach me?" That single question changes everything. It shifts your focus from victimhood to growth. Suddenly, heartbreak is no longer just an ending. It becomes a beginning. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayal, disease, and unimaginable pressure. Yet he repeatedly reminded himself that external events are not what disturb us. It is our judgments about those events. When someone stops loving you, the pain often comes not only from their departure, but from the story you tell yourself afterward. You tell yourself that you are unworthy. You tell yourself that your future is ruined. You tell yourself that you will never find happiness again. These stories deepen the wound. Stoicism invites you to challenge them. Is it true that your worth disappeared because someone left? Is it true that your future is hopeless? Or are these simply fearful interpretations of a difficult experience? One of the greatest acts of courage is learning to let people go with grace. Not because they deserve it, not because it is easy, but because your peace is worth protecting. Holding on to resentment may feel powerful in the moment, but over time it becomes a prison. Anger keeps you emotionally connected to the very thing you are trying to escape. The Stoics understood that bitterness harms the person carrying it more than the person who caused it. Freedom begins when you stop carrying emotional debts from the past. This does not mean you forget what happened. It does not mean you pretend the pain never existed. It means you stop allowing the past to control your future. Every day spent obsessing over someone who left is a day stolen from your own life. Every hour spent replaying old memories is an hour that could have been invested in building a stronger version of yourself. The Stoic path is not about suppressing emotions. It is about refusing to become their slave. There comes a moment in every healing journey when you realize something unexpected. The person you thought you could not live without no longer occupies every thought. The memories become less painful. The silence becomes less frightening. You start laughing again. You start dreaming again. You start building again, and one day you wake up and discover that you survived something you once believed would destroy you. That realization changes you forever. It proves that you are stronger than your fear told you. If she stops loving you, do not chase what is already leaving. Do not destroy your dignity trying to force what cannot be forced. Do not measure your worth through someone else's feelings. Instead, return to yourself. Return to your purpose. Return to your principles. Let this experience teach you patience, resilience, and wisdom. Let it remind you that your peace should never depend on another person's choices. The truth is that people will come and go throughout your life. Some will stay for years, others for only a season. But the relationship that matters most is the one you have with yourself. If you can maintain your character during loss, your dignity during rejection, and your inner peace during heartbreak, then no external event can truly break you. Someone may stop loving you, but that does not mean life stops loving you. New opportunities will appear. New experiences will arrive. New chapters will begin. And one day, you may look back on this painful moment and realize it was not the end of your story. It was the moment your real growth began. That is the lesson Stoicism wants you to remember. Not that heartbreak is easy, not that loss does not hurt, but that even when someone stops loving you, you still have the power to choose wisdom over desperation, growth over bitterness, and strength over despair. And sometimes, that choice changes the entire course of your life.